Coming up on the New Zealand Football Show, we catch up with not one, but 3 international coaches. New All Whites coach Danny Hay. Jose Ferreira gets set to travel to Brazil with the under-17s for the World Cup. A 5-0 win over the Solomon Islands has booked Des Buckingham and the under-23s a spot in Tokyo. In the National Women's League, Auckland played Southern on the weekend. And a new dawn has risen for the Wellington Phoenix and debutant coach Ufuk Talai.
It's been a cold winter, a long off-season, but the beautiful game here in New Zealand has finally returned, and we're so excited to bring you all the latest and greatest action right here on the New Zealand Football Show. And what a lineup we have for you off the bat. Former All-White Jacob Spoonley and New Zealand Under-23 coach Des Buckingham. Gents, thank you for joining me. Are you well?
Thanks for having us. Yeah, very well, thanks.
Jacob, what have you been up to?
I've been up to a little bit here and there, but can I just say it's fantastic to have you back in the country,
albeit
with a suspicious Yorkshire tan at the moment.
What are you talking about? It's been summer there. But anyways, let's give a big congratulations to Des, who've just taken the under-23s through to Tokyo and the Olympics. What was that campaign like for you?
Hugely proud and hugely pleased with the performance, and to put New Zealand into an Olympic Games for only the 3rd time in history is a really proud moment for everybody involved.
And Jacob, you've actually been a part of the 2008 Beijing Olympics. How special is it to represent your country?
Well, it's fantastic to represent your country in any tournament, but the Olympics is special because it's almost like a tangential path for a lot of footballers. They don't dream about going to the Olympics. It's more about playing in the Premier League or La Liga or going on and playing at a World Cup. But something we touched on is that you can really kind of harness the special element around the Olympics, and it's a moment that I'm hoping the players will enjoy going forward.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's that you come in and you spoke to the players prior to us leaving, and there was only 36 players that have gone before us. So to have another 18 and, of course, staff to go on top of that, be a hugely proud moment for everybody.
And just coming back to it for a moment, so the team scored 33 goals, you corrected me in rehearsal, across the tournament. There were 9 different goal scorers. Maya Bevan got the golden boot with 12, Ben Wayne with 8. Is that something that you were proud of, the fact that you played so well and scored so regularly?
I think it was our starter play that we wanted to go and implement from the 20s World Cup that we've built on since, and to score 33 goals and only concede 4. I think we've come back as the most dominant New Zealand side to ever have gone to the islands, which is, again, another hugely proud moment for everybody.
Massive.
Because the island nations aren't as sort of easy as they used to be. Were you pretty pleased with the performances that you did have against some of those tougher island teams?
Yeah, we've been to the islands before, and when we've gone to World Cups like the 20s and the Pacific Games, we've had a playing style that we've created and implemented, and this was the first time we'd been able to try it in the islands, despite the condition of the pitch or maybe the weather. So we wanted to go and do that. So to be able to go and do that and get better game by game, and to win a final 5-0 is a huge achievement.
And the Olympics actually aren't that far away. What's the focus until then?
Planning, getting around and engaging with players at their clubs the same way that we have done over the last couple of years.
Was it 70 that you said before? A pool of 70 players that you can call upon for this particular team?
Yeah, a huge pool of players that have now been involved in our environments and added huge value to them over the last 18 months. So again, it's getting around, engaging with those over the next couple of months and making sure we're as prepared as we can be.
Yeah, of course, and again, a huge congratulations, but there is a lot of football to get through. And let's start with the All Whites, and there's a new man in charge. Let's meet Danny Hay.
I'm really excited by the challenge. The fact that I've worn that shirt, played for the All Whites, that it's been a big part of my life, I think is going to help me. I'm hugely passionate about the side and seeing them do really well on the international stage.
Ball driven in, chance for the All Whites. And Danny Hay just couldn't get his header on target.
I've spoken to a number of the senior players already, and they're excited about getting the shirt back on again. It's been a bit of time, so they're just chomping at the bit to get back into it, and I'm sure that they are excited about the prospects ahead. The fact that we've got some players operating at the highest level in Europe, the likes of Chris Wood, Winston Reid at big clubs. You've got Sarpreet Singh now as well, emerging at Bayern Munich. And then you've got these young players just starting to come through, and I think they've got some real quality that's going to add something to the environment.
Well, there's an opening here for Imre to seal it. He's put it in! Oh, that's incredible! It's stoppage time!
We've got some great programs in place that are developing these players, and they need to be given an opportunity. But obviously they've got to earn that right to play for the All Whites. One thing I want to slightly change in terms of the DNA of how the All Whites play is be far more attack-minded and creative. I think we've got the type of players to play like that now. I think we just need to give them the confidence and essentially let them off the shackles. Qualifying out of Oceania now is actually, it's difficult, and it has been for a number of years. All the island nations are putting a lot of resource into their teams. The coaching that they're getting there is very good. They've got some technically very, very good players. We certainly are not looking beyond that. We know that we're going to have to beat them if we're going to try and get a chance of playing against whoever that may be in the Intercontinental playoff. But first and foremost, I think this opportunity to play against Ireland and Lithuania in November is exciting. Two sides that are going to be playing in their own backyard, so that's going to bring some added challenges for us, which is exciting.
The medium-term goal, if you like, is qualification for the Qatar 2022 World Cup. Ultimately, we want to not just go to World Cups, but to win games at World Cups.
People may underestimate New Zealand, but I think it's a different New Zealand side with a different group of players than people have probably looked at in the past. I think it can be exciting times looking ahead.
One of New Zealand's very own at the helm of the All Whites, and Danny Hay did such a fantastic job with Eastern Suburbs, guiding them to their first national title. Jacob, do you think this is a good appointment by New Zealand football?
Well, look, I was having a chat to Danny this morning, and his energy is there for everybody to see. His candidacy was one that was strong across all the 4 identified competencies, but it was a difficult decision because the shortlist did have a number of very, very strong candidates that we had to pick from.
And it's just in time though, Des, because New Zealand have finally secured some games next month. Do you think the players are looking forward to that?
I think the players can't wait to come back and play for their country. I think it's been a long time since especially those senior players have come in. So I'm really excited to see what squad is put together and for those 2 games in September.
Well, I was about to say, I mean, traditionally we've been quite defensive and stuff, but there's all these youngsters who are really skillful. Do you think we can see maybe a few new faces in the side, Jacob?
I think they're going to see some faces that haven't played football for a wee while. The likes of Ryan Thomas obviously coming back and making his debut for PSV a year after signing for them. Equally, Winston Reid's on the comeback trail from injury. So there are some established players that are looking to get football. But yeah, as Danny touched on there, we're now getting to this tipping point where we've got a number of very skillful young players coming through. They're attacking minded, and we're going to go out and attack an opponent. Not be like traditional Kiwi teams.
OK, that's good. Well, the aim is Qatar 2022, and FIFA have released the new design.
This is the story of a trophy for the world. A journey. A dream. The greatest tale ever told. This is the moment when we all come together, holding our breath for what feels like forever. This is the stage where legends are made. Artists become heroes, and epic football is played. This is the place, at the center of the world, all roads leading here as the next chapter unfolds.
The World Cup's still 3 years away, but in just under 3 weeks, the Under-17 FIFA World Cup gets underway, which New Zealand will be a part of, and we caught up with their head coach, Jose Figueira, before he headed off.
Yeah, really excited. It's certainly, counting down the days now till we head off. For this group of players and, a cycle of a national age group team, it's the pinnacle of that cycle. So, the preparations and the excitement levels are starting to ramp up now. I think the opening game is always really important, and we look back in recent tournaments of getting something in that game and building some momentum and confidence. But look, I think in recent times, our age group teams, men and women, have been progressing out of the group, and while we haven't set some firm targets just yet, there's no reason if we perform to the levels that I know the team can, we can, look to get out of the group if it's, in those top 2 spots or as one of the top runners-up as well in that 3rd position. So, yeah, look, I'm excited at what the group can do. I think the depth in this age group is fantastic. We've got a group of players with some really exciting skill sets, technically very good, understanding of the game, albeit at a young age, is already at a very good level, and of course, they're really coachable and open to the ideas that we want to do and put out there on the pitch. So yeah, no, I'm in a fortunate position, and I've got a hard decision to pick an 11, which is a good thing as well.
So that all kicks off towards the end of October, and New Zealand were actually drawn in Group A with host nations Brazil along with Angola and Canada. But Jacob, imagine playing that game against Brazil in Brazil. That'd be amazing.
Oh, it's bucket list material for these players. But it's interesting. I don't think you can always align the age group teams with the men's side. So is that something that you've come across in your World Cups, that you can't always use the kind of brand as the precedent for how that particular age group team's going to play?
Yeah, it is. I think we played Norway as an example. We looked at their senior team, and the way their 20s played at the World Cup was totally different. So you can't tag their seniors with their age group team. So it'll be really interesting to see how they go. And considering they play Brazil, which will be a huge game, but Brazil didn't actually qualify for the tournament. So if they weren't actually hosting it, they wouldn't be there. So that'll be a big good challenge for them to get out of the group.
Should be an easy win then, right? But Jake, we were chatting before. I mean, what do you think the success of the age group level was down to? Not because the coach is right here in front of us, but a lot of the reason is because of the coaches we've got at that level.
Oh, if you just look at Des's CV over the last 18 months, it's hard to argue that our coaches are now playing such a big part in our player development. So we do have a core of very talented players coming through, but you need the right people at the helms to make sure that you get the results from those particular teams. So the likes of Danny, Jose, who we've just heard from, and Des, people that we can point to as saying we're actually going in the right direction now.
Lovely. And it's not just the men that are doing well at the age group. The New Zealand under-17s actually got the bronze medal in their World Cup last year. And a big part of that is down to the Women's National League we've got right here in New Zealand. And round 4 took place over the weekend, and I went along to one of the matches. Southern United made the trip north to face Auckland Football Federation at McLennan Park on Sunday, where they hope to extend their 3-game unbeaten run. Ignacio Sunday's side boasts 2 wins and a draw to the 2019 season, but it wasn't the start the Southerners were hoping for. The initial shot by Emma Leeming was denied by the framework, but fell perfectly for Brittany Cunningham-Lee to slot it home and give the host the early lead. The Southern outfit haven't been short of goals this season, with 12 so far, and it didn't take long for them to add to that tally and, more importantly, get back on level terms. Ruby Anderson with the well-placed header 28 minutes into the first half. The 2017 champions answered back. Captain Steph Skilton showed her class and hit a beautiful strike just outside the box to reclaim the lead on the stroke of half-time. After the break, it was the visitors who were on top. A free kick taken by Chantal Smith was enough to test the keeper. This time it was Kirsty Hart who nodded it in. Once again, Southern even up the scoreline. But their hard work would soon be undone. A shot from Cunningham-Lee trickled over the keeper to put Nick Downside back in front. Any hopes of the visitors taking a point would soon be out of reach, as Skilton found substitute Tessa Kong in a good position to secure all 3 points for Auckland for their second win of the season.
I thought we brought it together on the day, and Southern are a really good side, and I thought we matched up well, and to sneak the win in the end is always good, so great day.
Every opportunity we got, it just didn't go our way. We hit the post, it bobbled in, bobbled out, and it's a pretty tough result to swallow when we feel like we did enough to at least get a point, if not all 3.
So Southern United handed their first loss of the season at the hands of Auckland Football. Canterbury United eased past Waibop, and Northern Lights showing us why they're one of the favourites this season, putting 7 past Central. So defending champions Canterbury sit pretty at the top of the table, taking maximum points from their opening fixtures and are once again looking like the team to beat. Auckland's win over Southern sees them leapfrog them on the table, level on points with Northern, and no wins for Capital or Central. But that could change this weekend as the two are set to face each other down in Wellington. Waibot will travel up north to face the Northern Lights, and it's a North v South derby as Auckland host Canterbury. Southern United sit this one out with the bye. And I mean, there's only 7 teams in the Women's National League, but it's really the only pathway that these girls have of trying to secure an American football scholarship or even play in Europe. But what have you made of the league so far, Jacob?
Oh, look, I think it's a great platform. And as you say, it's one of the only ones in the country. There's the Football Ferns Development Program, which takes a lot of the players from those teams and gives them full-time training. But you're right, it is a massive jump to go from the likes of the National League over to the United States for a scholarship or to Europe for a professional scholarship. But there are players doing it. Ava Collins, she's currently visiting St. John's in New York at the moment. And someone like Kelly Brown, I think, is destined for huge things and might even go direct to Europe.
And Des, you were part of the Wellington Phoenix setup for a long time. How good would a women's team be in the W League?
I think it'd be great, and it's something that the club have spoken around for a number of seasons, and I think they're very close to doing something. So that would be a fantastic arm for further development for women in this country.
And obviously the Football Ferns took part in the FIFA World Cup in France. You were there. What did you make of some of their performances? I
was at the first game against the Netherlands, and I thought they were hugely unfortunate not to come away with at least a result in that game, whether it be a draw, if not a win. They had the better of chances. But the goal they conceded in the last minute was like a kick in the gut. And I know they were really disappointed with how it all worked out. Yeah, well, I mean, it hasn't been smooth sailing for the Football Ferns to get to that point, having a lot of trouble with a certain manager. I won't give too much away, but here we at Sky are actually producing a documentary, so here's a bit of a sneak peek.
I don't think any player would really expect to be treated or just isolated like that on a tour. Like when you, especially in our environment, yeah, it does. It puts a little bit of fear in you as a player and as a person.
Like, you know, it began to kind of be this like psychological, just craziness. It was so bad that Erin Naylor, Hannah Wilkinson and I bought diaries with invisible ink.
It was more who he was as this manipulative and paranoid guy who just needed to control us. And everything started to kind of fall into place, I guess, with some incidents, some isolated incidences with some other girls. But it started to form a larger picture of who he was as a person.
You know, I've had friends come up to me kind of saying, oh, you guys kind of sound like a bit bratty. Like, was he just sort of like yelling at you? Like you didn't like what he was saying? And I was thinking in my head, holy moly, like you don't know the half of it.
Some pretty heavy stuff in that documentary. We'll keep you posted with the release date closer to the time. And I mean, you really have to see it to really understand what they went through, sort of without building an opinion on it just yet. But Tom Samani coming in must feel like a breath of fresh air for those girls.
Oh, definitely. And the likes of Aaron Walsh, who was the cultural consultant that they employed to help rebuild what was a pretty fractured environment at that point in time. And look, like Des said, they did really, really well at the World Cup. Perhaps didn't get the results that they were looking for, but to put in place those performances off the back of something like that, you've got to stand back and take your hat off to them.
Yeah, and Des, obviously they'll be joining you at the Tokyo Olympics. Do you think they'll do all right there?
I think now they've got some time with Tom working and building upon what they've done with both Aaron and their time at the World Cup. 9 months is a long time, and I'm fortunate to share the office with Tom. And he's a very good guy, and he'll have him in a good space come Tokyo.
Yeah, of course he will. All right, well, shifting our attention now to the ISPS 100 Premiership, which actually gets underway next month. They had their launch at Long Bay, and we've got all the latest from their day at the beach.
Yeah, obviously we've got one player from each team come down to Long Bay Beach to obviously the promotional video. So yeah, getting involved with the kids and having a good day down on the beach and yeah, trying to get fans and the community to games this season, which will be really good to see. Yeah, obviously it's nice when you get a full crowd down at your local team, and obviously when there's more kids down there, it makes you want to do better and help for the kids to see what's happening in New Zealand, and in years to come hopefully they'll be playing in the league and doing well. I think obviously playing for Auckland City is it's a no-brainer. We will come out to win everything. We did well being undefeated last year, but obviously we fell apart in the semi-finals, so we really want to kick on and do well in the semi-finals and finals. You know, every game that we come up against Team Wellington, it's a battle, and, you know, we're going to have to be on our game for the full 95 minutes. But, you know, we're very looking forward to that game, and, you know, obviously after the last game we played, losing in the semi-final, we're really looking forward to coming up against them again.
Not the best day to beat the beach, but Jacob, you're just saying Cam Howson looks absolutely shattered there.
I've got a 7-month-old and Cam's got, I think, a 2-month-old at the moment. He looks very, very tired.
But in all seriousness, so the ISPS 100 Premiership, I've been away for 2 years, and Eastern Suburbs win their first title ever. Look, usually it's Auckland City or Team Wellington. What's changed?
Oh, I think there was a great little coming together last year of Eastern Suburbs and the LA Academy. So a lot of Declan's boys came up and formed part of that championship-winning Eastern Suburbs side. But they're going through their own little process at the moment where there's only one player from last year's final, Calvin Carloa, who's still around for this Eastern Suburbs team. It's going to be very interesting to see what Danny does. I don't know if he's a consultant at the moment with the All Whites or if he's still staying full-time with Eastern Suburbs.
Des, do you think we can see maybe a few surprises again this season?
I think so. I think with 7 manager changes out of 10 teams, that's a huge change. We've lost 30 players from the league, but the remainder of the players stay. So that, you know, we had good players last year playing in that league. So it'll be really interesting to see how it all plays out.
Yeah, who would be your dark horse, do you think? Who should we keep a cheeky eye on?
Well, I think we agree on this, don't we?
Yes.
Yeah. Keep a close eye on Southern United.
Southern?
They've kept their core in place from last year, and they've added the likes of Joel Stevens, a current All White, and they are looking more and more dangerous. Anyone else that you would touch on, Des?
I think you'll have the usuals up there. I think you have the Auckland Cities, and I think Eastern Suburbs will be strong again. But I agree. I think Southern United, with the consistency of both manager and the players that they've been able to keep and build upon, I think they are the dark horses to keep an eye on.
Very interesting. I'll make a note of that one. But everyone knows that the ISPS 100 Premiership acts as a great pathway to the Wellington Phoenix. And the Hyundai A-League actually gets underway this week. But for the Phoenix, it's a new coach, a new captain and a new look side. So let's meet them.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Welcome to the Wellington Phoenix 2019-2020 Hyundai A-League season launch.
I can't wait for the season to start. I had two-month pre-season here. I'm not used to it because you just have 5 weeks pre-season back in Europe. So I can't wait for play a proper game, not just friendly matches and training.
Also, pre-season has been very long, and having a whinge about pre-season being long, I think it's been great in the sense for me to be able to work on a new playing style, and I think there's a lot of belief in this group, and I think we have a lot of character in this group for us to be successful as well.
I think now this year with a lot of young Kiwis, I think now it's obviously got a lot more of a Kiwi vibe to it, and I hope that that can just stay for seasons to come and have a really good, strong Kiwi core. I think the mentality and the attitude of the club has changed. I think now coming off the back of a good season last year. I think it'll be a challenge as a group and a goal for us to back it up.
I think we can do quite well. We have a good team, we have a good team spirit, so it was easy to settle in with the team because the lads are really friendly and made it easy to settle in. And yeah, on the pitch we have a good level, we have a good technical system, we have a good coach who shows how you want to play.
This season, though, certainly has a very fresh feel about it. A new coach with new ideas and a new tactical approach. A raft of new players from New Zealand and Australia, as well as Germany, England, and for the first time ever, not just at the Phoenix, but in the entire A-League, a player from Mexico.
This is your Wellington Phoenix.
It has been an extremely long pre-season for them. They can't wait, we can't wait. So here's a preview of what to expect this season.
2019 marks the dawn of a new era for the Wellington Phoenix. In Norfolk Talai, the club have a new coach looking to make his mark in his debut season. A new captain has been named, a man who knows what it takes to compete at the highest level. Add to this, a group of new and familiar faces, and the team in black and yellow will be looking to create history, to become the first New Zealand team to thrust the A-League trophy high above their heads as they are crowned champions of 2019-2020.
Yeah, new coach Ufuk Talay at the helm this season. We don't know a great deal about him. He came as an assistant coach from Sydney FC, so let's meet him.
Look, for me, what happened last year with the coach and those players leaving, it doesn't really bother me at the same stage. Mark is a good friend of mine and we're really good friends off the field. And look, things happened in the past, that's gone and that's beyond me at this stage. You know, when I come in, there were 7 players signed. So I've tried to build a team. I think I've built a team that's ambitious, that wants to be successful, and I've tried to bring in players that have the same drive as myself as a coach. So, you know, I'm only looking forward. Whatever happened in the past has happened in the past, and we're only looking forward to what we can do and what we can achieve. Players that I try to bring in is players that have got the experience, have had senior football in the A-League, but still haven't reached their full potential, and I think they still have a lot of ambition, and I think that's very important to have those type of players instead of recycling players that have been at 3-4 clubs in the A-League. And I wanted to bring in players that have the drive, that want to be successful, and that want to have the will to work and the will to become better. Tails gives us abundance of experience. He gives us a lot of experience from the games that he's played in the EPL. He's great within the change room. He's great with the boys, even with the younger boys, and he's great as a leader because he does lead. He does just not lead by speaking. He leads by his actions and how he prepares himself for training and how he prepares himself for games as well. The expectation is there to always make the finals. I think in the A-League, I think this team's good enough to make the finals. So the aim is to make the finals and then go as far as we can. Our last camp in Sydney, just before we got back, we've had some very good games, 3 good games over there, and I think the confidence is very high with the group, and I think the group has gelled quite well, and the football we're playing quite now is quite exciting. Can't give you too much information, but there'll be a formation there that we'll play. And look, when we have the ball, we want to be the team that actually plays nice football. And when we don't have the ball, we want to be compact. We want to have no space between our lines, and we want to be very hungry to win that ball back. You know, the fans have been sensational previously when I've come to games to play against Wellington Phoenix, and I hope they enjoy the season. I think it's going to be a fantastic season, and I think they're going to be surprised with how things go. And I'm hoping that they support the team all the time.
Ufuk Talai, making the 12th man be heard this Sunday. Make sure you're there supporting the Phoenix. And Des, what a first fixture for them to have. I had a laugh when I saw the release. It's the Western United. They've got the old manager and the old captain. How are you expecting this one to go?
I'm going down myself to have a watch. I can't wait for it. Like Ufuk said there, it's a very long pre-season. I'm really excited to see both the young players and also the Kiwi players and how the club goes, because there's a real good foundation built last year, and I know everyone's looking forward to it.
Jacob, do you think the Phoenix have lost the underdog status, or do you still think people are sort of predicting them to be wooden spoon? Well,
not according to the Sydney Morning Herald. I think Michael Lynch came out and said they're going to finish bottom, which I thought was interesting to say the least. But look, isn't it amazing that you can have a rivalry before a ball's even been kicked by a club? Western United obviously have Mark Rudan and Andrew Durante at the helm, and Max Burgess, a former player, along with Philip Curto. The fans alone are saying this is a rivalry, so that should be a cauldron by the time that the Phoenix and Western United walk out onto that field.
Well, I can't wait. But I mean, do you think the Phoenix are happy with their team so far, or are they looking a bit light up top, Des?
I think he's happy with it. I think he's openly spoken around they're still searching for a striker, but they've brought in some really good players, ball up front, and of course you've got young Ben Waine that's scoring goals, and I think they've got enough in the young players coming through that will see them through.
OK, and Jacob, please don't plug the podcast. Don't beat around the bush. What's your score prediction for Sunday?
Well, if you listen to the 490 NZ, you'll hear my prediction. Look, I had 2 years without these predictions from you. Putting me on the spot, I'm going to have to go 2-1 to the Wellington Phoenix. I think Western will come out the blocks quickly, and then the Phoenix will establish themselves. And I think Callum McCower, he won't start, but he'll come off the bench and pop in with a goal. Oh,
can you see the future or something? Des, what about you?
I'll plug his podcast. I thought it was a very good podcast.
It's because you're a guest.
And I'll go for a 2-0 win to the Phoenix.
Well, gents, thank you very much for joining us on the very first show. And tonight we're leaving you with the Wellington Phoenix embracing the Māori culture.
We think that mana is really important for the club because we want the club to have a version of mana. We want the players, the fans, the organisation, the management to enhance the mana of the club. And that means you've all got a role to play. It's not about the individual, it's about the mana of what you represent, of the mana of the logo that you wear on your chest.
Like Mana, when we spoke in there, Mana comes from other people. It's for us to earn the respect and go out there and do things where people are enjoying the Phoenix and giving us the Mana.
I think they show values that we want to bring into our team, like the Mana, which we'll show by working hard and respect and, you know, just try and carry it out in our performances and do our talking on the field.